By the will of the First Order of the Chiropteran, I declare your YouTube channel dead.
Son, you just hit with the wow effect.
Look, I know it's been like 2 months since I've made a review, so I understand if you guys are frustrated, but as you can see, recently I had to relocate, and being that rent is just a smidgen higher here, I also had to procure a roommate. But that doesn't mean that...
Peter, where's that rent money?
I'm working on it, man.
Really need that rent money.
Okay. Anyways, I made you guys a promise. One that I never thought I'd have to keep, and that is that when I hit 5,000 subscribers, I would review Bubsy Claws Encounters of the Third Kind. So without further ado, it's time to review Bubsy Claws Encounters of the Third Kind. Bubsy, the coolest, classiest, most charismatic and charming character to hit the Genesis in the 90s. That's right, kids, doesn't get much cooler than this. Well, let's see what's inside the box, shall we? What the... Having a wonderful time, wish you were here. Aloha from Tinseltown. I'm shooting my first animated TV special. Boy, it seems like it was only yesterday when I was just a cool bobcat. Now I've risen to become a totally cool celebrity. Ain't America great? Anyway, I'm writing to remind you to watch my upcoming Thanksgiving weekend TV special. You could win valuable prizes. The marketing dudes and dudettes are calling it Watch and Win. Brilliant or what? So this is basically an advert for the Bubsy TV show pilot entitled What Could Possibly Go Wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? Right, Arnie?
Well, I could tell you what could possibly go wrong. Your pilot could crash and burn and never be picked up for a full series despite having one of voice acting's greatest, Rob Paulson, voicing your furry little ass cherub.
Oh my god, Bubsy the Bobcat! The best thing about that show is that the check's cleared.
Speaking of ass cherubs, what the f are these? These are the creepiest little anthropomorphic child cats I've ever seen. I think they're supposed to be Bubsy's kids or something, but the weird coloring on their faces makes them look like they have f***ing mustaches. It looks like Garfield got drunk and f***ed a desk lamp. Anyways, enough about the TV pilot. We're here to review the game. But before we start, let's get a little backstory from the comic inside the game book. Across the inky velvet reaches of space lie unknown terrors, strange worlds, and even stranger alien races. There are beings that stretch the very fabric of reality. Beings like woolies, whose unbridled lust for yarn is legendary across the galaxies. And no woolly is more greedy for the furry fiber than the twin queens of Rayon, Polly and Esther.
Well, Professor Nylon, have you found a new planet to plunder of wonderful wool?
Yes, your embroidered highness. Have a bow peep through my fiber optic yarnoscope.
Eureka! It's the mother of all wolves.
what a weird-looking creature. I'll say he's not wearing any pants.
There's just no privacy for us big stars.
The wildly wicked woolies could not resist this chance to steal wool.
We'll pull the wool over that bobcat's eyes and yank his yarn.
They knit their plans carefully. We'll knit one here.
Then purl two there.
And soon, the very fabric of space was being warped by their dreaded saucers of silk.
What's our yarn consumption, Ensign?
About 2 light years to the yard, sir.
But the woolies had chosen to invade the space of one perfectly ferocious feline.
I'm bad. Whoa, I'm bad. Yeah, I'm really bad. This fucking sucks.
A bobcat ready, willing, and able to defend the rights of the downtrodden.
Go ahead, make my day.
Smite the evildoers.
Some I smite, some I bite. It's a mood thing, really.
And to generally act in a heroic and politically correct manner.
I regret that I have but 9 lives to give to my planet.
Well, it could happen. And so the nefarious, nasty, no-account woolies proceeded to clean Bubsy's clock.
I'll vacuum.
I'll dust.
The woolies swiftly made a sucker out of Bubsy.
Who said cat hair was hard to vacuum up?
Of course, it helps if it's still attached to the cat.
And in mind-numbing succession, he was first rejected.
How humiliating.
And then ejected.
I'd like to remind the producer of this game that I am an endangered, repeat, endangered species.
The woolies' unprovoked attack opened Bubsy's eyes.
I see you have a lovely home here, Miss Gopher.
And focused his razor-sharp mind on one critical thought.
I bet this means I'll miss lunch.
I knew I should have increased my insurance. Fucking bobcats falling out of the goddamn sky. I can't afford this shit. I can't fucking afford it. What am I supposed to do?
Calm down. Just calm down.
I'm supposed to get through this. I'm just so...
And so began the spellbinding, fast-paced, nail-biting, action-packed blockbuster event.
I'll be back.
Claws Encounters of the Furred Kind.
Well, now that that's out of the way, let's get to it. So Bubsy Claws Encounters of the Furred Kind is a game where you play as Bubsy on his quest to rid the earth of the horribly designed, yarn-obsessed abominations known as woolies. And what better a driving force for a villain than the desire to fucking obtain copious amounts of yarn for some reason? Are they like gonna knit a giant space sweater? What's their motive? I must just not understand the value of yarn. I mean, I get Bubsy's motive. He's after the fame and fortune, popularity and praise, hookers and blow, and I'm sure we can all relate to that. But I just don't understand the woolies. And what do we do when we don't understand something, kids? That's right, we step on its head. Anyways, woolies aren't the only thing you've got to worry about here in Bubsyland. There's all kinds of colorful enemies just waiting to murder your furry little face. Like, for example, gumballs, trains, chickens, cars, weeds, bugs, frogs, fish. Frogs? Is that a fucking... Hot dogs and ice cream. Wait, hot dogs and ice cream? I mean, at least it's realistic. If anything kills me, it'll be hot dogs and ice cream. Then there's these things. I'm not sure what these are supposed to be, but if I had to guess, I'd say they were some kind of sentient nutsacks racked with crippling depression and condensed existential dread projected through hollow and stagnant eyes. Oh wait, no, they're horny toads. Okay, oh, that makes sense. Anyways, despite all of these enemies, there's still always a greater number of woolies in each stage. The woolies have 4 primary attacks. There's the classic slow lumbering walk, the lesser known throwing of a giant wheel of cheese that can fucking cut you in half. They also throw eggs at you with their feet, which is pretty impressive, I suppose. I'm just really surprised at how easy it is to kill Bubsy with breakfast items. Like, the structural integrity of Bubsy's body is literally weaker than a fucking egg thrown by a foot. And how is he so easily killed by a cheese wheel? I'm pretty sure I could throw a decent-sized cheese wheel at a 4-year-old's head, and the child might cry, but he'd brush it off. I think. It certainly wouldn't cut him in half. Anyways, the 4th and final means of woolly attack is the doot. You see, that's the thing about woolies. You can always bank on them eventually giving in to the desire of the doot. Because, for some inexplicable reason, woolies can't go 10 seconds without dooting. And I'm sure in the 90s, dooting was all the rage, but it's 2018 now, and dooting is technically considered a microaggression. So honestly though, the best time to step on a woolie's head is when it's dooting. So I guess in a way, the doots work to your advantage. I'd also like to point out that throughout the stages, the woolly sprites are slightly changed, but they aren't really that different aside from like headwear. It's the laziest game of dress up ever. Kinda like how grandma puts a different hat on her diabetic Persian depending on the holiday. Even the later stage woolies aren't that different. I mean, they just added a fishbowl into... Oh, by the way, every single enemy in this game can kill you in 1 hit. Good thing you start the game with 9 lives. Too bad those lives don't mean dick in the long run. In fact, it's practically an insult to give the player 9 lives when they die in one hit. It would honestly be better to divide those 9 lives into 3 lives with 3 hit points or something along those lines. In fact, I'd even be happier with 1 life and 9 hit points. At least that way, when I made a minor mistake, I wouldn't have to restart from a fucking checkpoint. And naturally, there are no health pickups in this game because you have no health. Instead, you get little power-ups in the form of merchandise. Hey kids, don't you want to buy a Bubsy shirt and go drown at the bottom of a fucking lake? The number shirt gives you extra lives, the white exclamation point shirt gives you a shield that renders you invincible for a short period of time, and the black exclamation point shirt makes you invisible, which means you're invincible for a short period of time. Wait, they both do the same thing? They both do the same thing. Oh well, at least the power-ups prevent the enemies from instantly killing you, even if it's only for a little while. Too bad you still die if you fall in water. Wow, gotta love the way Bubsy reacts to drowning at the bottom of a lake. Look at him, he's happy about it. He's ready to embrace the sweet release of death, and so am I after listening to him belch out the same shitty one-liner every time I die in this stage.
Next time, I get a stunt cat.
That's right, every time you start a new stage in this game, Bubsy shits out a one-liner. Unfortunately for me, the programmers decided it would be a good idea to remind you of said one-liner every single time you die. But hey, maybe that was a smart move in the long run because I'm honestly trying harder than ever not to die, so I don't have to listen to Bubsy say, next time I get a stunt cat for the 100th fucking
Next time,
Son of a bitch! Alright, let's talk about the levels. So, you've got the Peen Hill Zone, a circus stage, a western theme stage, a forest stage, a jungle stage, and the final stage, which takes place on the Woolies mothership. Now, each stage is divided into 3 segments. We'll call these zones. Sound a little familiar? Well, that's probably because the creator of Bubsy spent like 14 hours a day playing Sonic the Hedgehog for a whole week straight to get inspiration for his own game. At this point, I'd usually start shrieking about how much of a ripoff Bubsy is or how the creator is a hack, but deep down inside my shitty little heart, I know damn well that I also spent 14 hours a day playing Sonic the Hedgehog and I have nothing to show for it but scoliosis. So yes, there are similarities when comparing Bubsy to Sonic, but I'm not gonna beat that dead horse. However, that doesn't mean I don't think this game is a heaping pile of lizard shit. You see, as I play through the levels in this game, I keep noticing a reoccurring theme. Fucking confusion. The levels in this game are incredibly confusing. There are areas that are built kind of like the tracks in a Sonic game where you've got these wide open spaces and you really feel like you can open up and speed through an area, but they always end in a death trap. The fact that everything can kill you in one hit makes running through almost any area in this game nerve-wracking. And 90% of the time, you are going to run into something that will kill you. Wait, what the shit was that? Did the wheel of the roller coaster just kill me? Are you serious? It wasn't even moving! Bubsy just killed himself by slamming his head into a stationary object. And these drafts that you can bounce on will kill you too if you run into them instead of jumping on them. How does that what part of this draft's neck is lethal? Is it hiding a fucking switchblade? How the hell am I supposed to know what's going to kill me in this game? Uh-oh, watch out for the cactus. Son of a... You know, I've lived in Arizona almost my entire life, and I've never once ran face first into a saguaro cactus, despite there being so many of them. Can't say the same for teddy bear cholla or prickly pear, but saguaros aren't really an obstacle here in the desert. You see, they're great, big, towering masses of spikes that you can see from miles away, and although they're intimidating to say the least, I've never met anyone stupid enough to accidentally run into one. Anyways, I digress. I think at this point I'm attacking this game for the wrong reason. The type of obstacles aren't the issue. It's their inconsistent placement and ability to kill you in one hit that's the issue. Now, at this point you're probably saying, Peter, stop being such a pussy. Didn't you say in your last review that overcoming obstacles is a necessary component for a good game? And to that I say, that is absolutely correct, you fucking idiot. However, Bubsy, in my humble opinion, is not a good game. The obstacles in Bubsy don't feel like they're designed to be challenging. They feel like they're designed to piss you off. Around every corner is a bloodthirsty tumbleweed, an egg-chucking shitweevil, or a small bed of ankle-high saguaro cactus, and you never know when these things are gonna pop up. I mean, there are parts in this game where enemies are placed directly in your path. Like, look at this shit. How come these assholes can just stand in water that has a current strong enough to throw me around like a fucking ragdoll? It must be those gargantuan tumor hooves they've got for feet. This is so frustrating. I keep dying over and over again. And I mean, unless you play through this game enough to memorize enemy and obstacle locations, or tiptoe your way through the stages like some kind of scaredy cat, you're gonna end up getting your bobtailed ass handed to you. But nobody wants to take their sweet time and play cautiously in a game that's supposed to be a fast-paced platformer. I mean, I found myself running through a lot of these stages in a desperate attempt to derive some small enjoyment out of them, despite literally being told to look around frequently in the tutorial. Look, look around frequently? Imagine if you were playing Sonic the Hedgehog, but instead of blasting through the stages like a badass, you stopped to look around every 10 seconds to make sure you weren't about to trip on a fucking hot dog. Here I go, hypocritically comparing this game to Sonic after I said that I wouldn't. The point is, the scatterbrain nature of the enemy placement in this game is driving me insane. What the f is this? The Carousel of Doom? That I'm walking around. I don't even give a shit. I hate the fact that this game wants you to pussyfoot your way around these stages. There are so many areas where you have no idea what's coming. Like, you literally can't see where you're going, so you're stuck in reflexive flinch mode every time you run or jump. Man, this game is just one giant leap of faith. This game demands faith like a religion, only to slap you in the face with a fucking dinosaur babushka. Good thing we've got the soothing sound of 3 shitty 30-second long 16-bit audio loops layered over each other to accompany the perpetual anxiety of knowing you can die from touching a fucking giraffe. God, this music is so fitting, actually. I hate it, so it's fitting. Hey, remember when I talked about door mazes in my Lion King review? Remember how much I hated the door maze in that game? Well, that was a good game. Imagine playing the door maze in this game. Speaking of doors, don't go into any of the fucking doors in this game. I know you have to go through the door maze to progress, but after that, just nix doors, dude. It's not worth it. Although some of the doors lead to a satanic water slide bonus stage, most of them just reverse a good portion of your progress by sending you backwards. I found this out because I got curious after almost completing a stage and decided that I was going to check out the doors, only to discover that there were a one-way trip back to the beginning of the fucking stage. Just another crooked dick to add to the roster of dicks this game continuously slaps you in the face with. God, this game is driving me insane. Maybe I can take out some frustration by fighting a boss. Oh wow, nope, it's somehow increasing the frustration actually. God, you know, all the bosses in this game are the same sweaty asshole. Just flying yarn saucers that dip and dive and sometimes drop shit, and the only way to defeat them is to get a few lucky hits in while you're pretending to be the world's shittiest airplane. Holy sweet mother of Cthulhu, grant me strength. What the f is happening right now? Stupid yarn. Yarn everywhere. I keep collecting yarn, but I haven't earned a single free life. Like, just how much yarn am I supposed to collect? Let's see here. Yarn. There it is. Wait. Points.
You're this close, man. This fucking close. No. Not yet.
At least the game has a password system, so you don't have to drive your skull through the drywall after getting a game over on the last stage. Alright, I'm gonna find something positive about this game if it kills me. Well, the graphics and animations aren't bad, the backgrounds don't look bad at all, and the character animations for Bubsy are actually pretty good. I mean, they work. They look good regardless of whether or not they're consistent, and what I mean by that is, it's kind of weird that Bubsy melts after being slammed in the ass by a sewer lid, but it definitely makes sense that he'd deflate after being poked by a sharp object considering how much hot air is contained in his little bobcat body. I guess what I'm saying is that the animations are a positive note in this game. Well, all except one animation, the animation that happens when you slam into a wall. It's yet another reason to avoid running through this game quickly. The animation lasts way too long, and it's way too likely to happen considering how easily you can pick up speed and how inconsistent the physics are in this game. The game is all over the place when it comes to momentum. First of all, if you press left or right on the D-pad for more than 2 seconds, Bubsy will take off at light speed, which is really shitty considering how fragile he is. It's kind of like driving a Ferrari made out of glass. You can go really fast, but you're gonna die. Not to mention the weird gravitational pull that stays with you when you jump. You see, if you're moving in a certain direction when you jump, there's a small amount of forced momentum that stays with you no matter what. And the only way to break the momentum is to come to a complete stop on the ground. Of course, you can also glide mid-jump for extra control, but that's the key word here, extra control. This game has no control to begin with. In fact, the controls are so bad that when my friend played the game, he thought my controller was fucking broken, and that's not a joke. I do actually have a friend. This sucks. Sir Isaac Newton would be slapping his nutsack against a garbage can if he lived long enough to see this abomination in physics. Because of the glitchy momentum thing, when you take control of Bubsy's jump by gliding, the speed ends up staying the same in either direction. He never really loses momentum, which can lead to some weird shit like this. Whoa! What was that? A boot? Why does a motionless boot send you flying? Never mind, it doesn't even matter. You know what else? I haven't even mentioned the assy hitboxes yet. If even a single pixel of Bubsy touches an enemy or obstacle, he dies. In some instances, it feels like just being near an enemy can kill you, and like I've said before, everything kills you in one hit. Boy, that mixes real well with the broken momentum. Man, it is so fucking hard to explain how shitty the gameplay is unless you actually play it. From the outside, it honestly doesn't look that broken. It's only when the controller is in your precious little hands that you can truly feel the nature of the shitty controls. Now, I've searched the dictionary and I have not found an adjective that adequately describes the extreme level of ass-shattering frustration that I feel when playing this game. It's like trying to drive a car with your ass cheeks. And look, I get it, if you committed to completing your daily commute with your butt pressed against the steering wheel, you'd eventually get the hang of it, but the point is, it shouldn't be that difficult to control something, especially a character in a video game. I hate this game so fucking much. Shit, son of a God, come on, crotch bears.
What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong?
You wanna know what's crazy? This game actually got decent reviews back in the day. No joke, it even won 2 awards. The Parents' Choice Award and the Best New Character Award. So apparently people actually enjoyed this game. People genuinely thought Bubsy was a pretty cool cat. I just don't get it. To me, Bubsy seems like the kind of fella who meticulously bottles his own farts and then tries to sell them to you. But then again, I never really knew Bubsy in the 90s. As in, I never played this game during its heyday. The 90s were a different time. We had shows like Darkwing Duck, Bonkers, and the Ninja Turtles, and while all those characters are infinitely better than Bubsy, to a fat cat producer, this little bobcat could have been a cash cow. All I'm saying is that maybe time is a factor in why this game receives so much hatred. I'm not saying it doesn't deserve it, I'm simply trying to understand my enemy. I guess what I'm getting at is that I understand the hate, I'm just trying to understand the love, because believe it or not, there are people out there who genuinely love this game. I'm just not one of them. Luckily for me, I won't have to endure much more of this game because I've finally made it to the Woolly Mothership. Oh boy, I love that every time you die in this stage, you have to go back and flip the switches again. See, the weird thing about this game is that the enemies don't respawn after you kill them. Even when you die and return to a checkpoint, the enemies stay dead. So why the shit do I have to go back and flip these stupid switches? Damn it!
Well, are you still playing this thing?
What did he just say?
Well, are you still playing this thing?
Dude, even Bubsy is shocked that I'm still playing this game. No! Please, God, no! Thank God for the password system. Okay, here we go again. You know, I'm finally kind of getting the hang of this game. Honestly, I think I can beat it. I guess you could say that it's growing on me. Like cancer cells. Oh boy, we're in the home stretch, guys. Just gotta get through these tiny hallways. Shit. Oh boy. Oh, Jesus. This is maximum pucker right here. Oh man, we made it. Alright, you jolly-looking two-faced whore. Prepare to get claws encounter prepare to die! I did it. I did it? That was it? That was the final boss? I win. I guess you helped. He wins. I guess I helped. That's a funny joke. I understand that joke. It's like top tier comedy material right there, Bubsy. I'm really proud of that joke, honestly. That is a brilliant joke right there. Great way to end a game. Really funny. I enjoy it, truly. Fuck you, Bubsy! So what's the final verdict on the infamous Bubsy Claws Encounters of the Third Kind? Well, it sucks. The terrible controls, obnoxious music and sound effects, confusing level design, one-hit kills, backwards-ass doors, leaps of faith, repetitive one-liners, doots, shoots, boots, creepy fucking pickle people. Man, I did not enjoy this game. But you know what? I strive to be fair, even if it hurts my balls, and I've gotta say the graphics weren't bad. The animations in particular worked really well in this game, and Bubsy himself is an icon. He's an icon for being an asshat, but he's still an icon, man. An unintentional parody of the self-absorbed, over-the-top, wannabe cool cat characters of the 90s. Bubsy, in a way, is an important piece of gaming history, but he's an even bigger piece of shit. So I'd have to give Bubsy claws encounters of the furred kind 1.5 bottled farts out of 5. Now don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment in the comments section below. And if you truly enjoy these reviews, please consider donating to my Patreon.
And now it's time for Comments with Peter, the part of the show where Peter reads your stupid fucking comments.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Comments with Peter, the part of the show where I read your comments. I hope you all enjoyed my Bubsy review because I certainly enjoyed putting a bullet through this game. So now it's dead, and we can never talk about it again, ever. But enough about that, it's time for my favorite part of the show, reading your comments. Shut up, Kato. Let's see what we got. Anal. Is that a question? Excellent choice with the pan-seared Hebrew National. I'm usually a boiling man myself. The toasted buns are a great touch to really bring a chili dog to the next level, but as a chili aficionado, I question the use of canned chili. Granted, for a chili dog, you want that chili to be as processed as possible to get that authentic, heart-destroying effect, so I'll let it slide. Perfect onion chopping form, nice understated cheesing, and rounded off with a bit of scallions, or chives maybe, is inspired. In all, I give your chili dog a 90%. A. Keep up the good work. A 90. Thanks. It should have been 100. My father was right. I sometimes throw my cat out my window because I can't beat Bubsy. Well, I'll tell you what, I beat Bubsy and then my roommate threw me out the window. I mean, it wasn't because of Bubsy, it's because I didn't pay rent, but it...
I'll do it again, motherfucker. You have 3 days.
Can you do a PS1 game? I can, and possibly will, because my PlayStation's been gathering quite a bit of dust, so... I want my click back. Well, you're gonna have to pry it from my cold, dead ass. Hand. My cold, dead ass hand. Your lips always look so moist. How do you keep your lips so moist? That's because I use My Favorite Night Balm. My Favorite Night Balm deeply moisturizes and nourishes lips, leaving them feeling soft and smooth. Simply apply a healthy portion of My Favorite Night Balm to your lips before you go to sleep, and you'll wake up feeling moist. My Favorite Night Balm for the softest, most moistest lips in the whole wide world. Hey, wait a second, these assholes aren't paying me for advertising. As a matter of fact, no one's paying me for advertising. Wait.